Maya had always been good with kids. Maybe it was because she was the oldest of 4 siblings, or maybe it was just something natural about her. Either way, babysitting had become her lifeline during her second year of college. While her classmates worked at coffee shops or retail stores, Maya found herself in living rooms across town, helping with homework, making dinner, and tucking little ones into bed. The money wasn't great, but it was flexible. She could study while the kids napped, and most families paid her enough to cover her textbooks and groceries. Her parents had tried to help with college costs, but with 3 younger kids at home, there just wasn't much left over. Maya didn't mind. She had learned early that if you wanted something in life, you worked for it. That Tuesday started like any other. The sun was shining, and Maya had picked up little Lily from preschool as usual. Lily was 4 years old, with curly brown hair that never stayed in place and a smile that could light up a room. She was one of Maya's favorite kids to watch, always chatty and eager to play whatever game Maya suggested. "Can we go to the big park today?" Lily had asked as they walked hand in hand down the sidewalk. "The one with the really tall slide?" Maya checked her phone. It was only 3 in the afternoon, and Lily's dad wouldn't be home until 6. They had plenty of time. "Sure, sweetheart. But we'll need to be careful on that big slide, okay?" Lily nodded eagerly, practically bouncing with excitement. The park was only a few blocks away, and Maya enjoyed these walks. Lily would point out every dog they passed, every flower blooming in front yards, every airplane flying overhead. It reminded Maya why she loved working with children. They noticed everything, found joy in the smallest things. The park was busier than usual for a Tuesday afternoon. Several moms pushed toddlers on swings while older kids ran around the playground equipment. Maya found an empty bench where she could keep an eye on Lily while the little girl climbed and played. She pulled out her psychology textbook, hoping to get through a chapter while Lily burned off some energy. For about 20 minutes, everything was perfect. Lily made friends with another little girl, and they took turns going down the slide together. Maya looked up frequently from her reading, always making sure Lily was safe and happy. The weather was beautiful, and Maya found herself thinking that this was probably the best part-time job a college student could ask for. That's when everything changed. Maya was reading about child development when she heard Lily scream. Not a playful scream or even an "I'm hurt" scream. This was pure terror. Maya's head snapped up immediately, her textbook falling to the ground as she searched for Lily. She spotted her near the monkey bars, but something was very wrong. Lily was pressed against the metal equipment, making herself as small as possible. Her face was pale and tears were streaming down her cheeks. Maya ran over to her, her heart pounding. "Lily! What's wrong, honey?" Maya knelt down, trying to look into Lily's eyes, but the little girl kept looking past her toward something across the park. Lily was shaking now, her whole body trembling like a leaf in a storm. She grabbed onto Maya's shirt with both hands, still staring at something behind Maya. "He's here," she whispered, so quietly Maya almost didn't hear her. "The scary man is here." Maya turned to look where Lily was staring. Across the park, maybe 50 yards away, a man in a dark business suit sat on a bench. He appeared to be reading a newspaper, but something about him felt off. Maybe it was the way he kept glancing in their direction, or maybe it was the fact that he was wearing a heavy suit on such a warm day. Most of the other adults at the park were in casual clothes, t-shirts, and shorts. "Which man, sweetheart?" Maya asked gently, though she had a feeling she already knew. Lily's grip on Maya's shirt tightened. "The one watching us. He knows Daddy's secret." Her voice broke on the last word, and she buried her face against Maya's shoulder. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. She had never seen Lily like this. The little girl was usually fearless, climbing to the top of playground equipment that made Maya nervous, talking to strangers at the grocery store, never showing fear of anything. But right now she was terrified. Maya looked back at the man. He was definitely watching them, though he tried to be subtle about it. When their eyes met for just a moment, he quickly looked back down at his newspaper. Something about his behavior made Maya's stomach tighten with worry. "It's okay, Lily," Maya said softly, rubbing the little girl's back. "You're safe with me. Nobody's going to hurt you." But Lily was inconsolable now. She clung to Maya like her life depended on it, sobbing into her shoulder. Maya had babysat dozens of children over the past 2 years, and she had never encountered a reaction like this. Kids got scared sometimes, sure. They were afraid of dogs or loud noises or thunderstorms. But this was different. This was a deep, bone-deep terror that seemed to come from somewhere much darker. Maya made a decision. She scooped Lily up in her arms, grabbed her textbook from the ground, and started walking quickly toward the park exit. She didn't look back at the man in the suit, but she could feel his eyes on them as they left. "Where are we going?" Lily asked between sobs. "Home," Maya said firmly. "We're going home right now." As they walked, Maya's mind raced. Who was that man? Why was Lily so afraid of him? And what did she mean when she said he knew her daddy's secret? Dr. Blackwood was a pediatrician, well respected in the community. What kind of secret could a doctor have that would terrify his 4-year-old daughter? Maya had always prided herself on being observant. It was part of what made her good with kids. She noticed when they were tired or hungry or upset before they even said anything. But as they walked home, she started thinking about other things she had noticed about Lily recently. The little girl had been having more nightmares lately. She would wake up crying about monsters or bad men, and it would take Maya 20 minutes to calm her down for her afternoon nap. Lily had also started asking strange questions about whether Maya would always protect her, whether Maya promised to keep her safe. At the time, Maya had thought it was just a phase. Kids went through all sorts of phases. They worried about monsters under the bed or ghosts in the closet. She had assumed Lily's fears were normal childhood anxiety. But now, walking home with a terrified 4-year-old in her arms, Maya wondered if she had missed something important. When they reached Lily's house, a beautiful 2-story home in one of the nicer neighborhoods, Maya unlocked the front door and carried Lily straight to the living room couch. The little girl was still shaking, though her sobs had quieted to occasional sniffles. Maya made them both some hot chocolate and put on Lily's favorite cartoon, hoping to distract her from whatever had frightened her so badly. But even as the colorful characters danced across the screen, Lily kept looking toward the windows, as if she expected to see the man in the suit standing outside. "Lily," Maya said gently, sitting down beside her on the couch. "Can you tell me more about the scary man? Have you seen him before?" Lily nodded, not taking her eyes off the television. "He comes sometimes. When Daddy's working in the basement, they talk about the special kids." Maya's blood ran cold. "What special kids, honey?" But Lily just shook her head and curled up closer to Maya. "I'm not supposed to tell. Daddy says it's a secret, but I don't like secrets anymore." "Secrets are scary." Maya held Lily close, her mind spinning with questions and concerns. What was going on in this house? What kind of work was Dr. Blackwood doing in the basement? And who was the man at the park who had frightened this sweet little girl so badly? As the afternoon wore on, Maya found herself paying closer attention to everything around her. She noticed that several rooms in the house were always locked. She noticed that Dr. Blackwood often came home with dirt on his clothes, even though he worked in a clean medical office all day. She noticed that Lily had started hiding snacks in her bedroom, as if she was afraid there might not be food later. Most importantly, she noticed that Lily's fear was real and deep and came from somewhere that a 4-year-old should never have to know about. When Dr. Blackwood came home that evening, Maya watched his interaction with his daughter carefully. He was kind enough, asking about her day and giving her a hug. But Maya noticed how Lily tensed up slightly when he touched her, how her eyes darted toward the basement door when he mentioned he had work to finish later. As Maya gathered her things to leave, she made a promise to herself. She was going to figure out what was frightening Lily so badly. And if someone was hurting this little girl, Maya was going to make sure they were stopped. She just had no idea how dangerous that promise would turn out to be. The weeks following the park incident changed everything for Maya. What started as a simple babysitting job had turned into something much more complicated. She found herself lying awake at night, thinking about Lily's terrified face and the mysterious man in the suit. But it wasn't just that one scary afternoon that bothered her. It was all the little things that started adding up, like pieces of a puzzle she didn't want to solve. Maya had always been the type of person who noticed details. Her psychology professor said it would make her a good therapist someday. Her friends joked that nothing got past her. But now, As she spent more time in Dr. Blackwood's house, she wished she could unsee some of the things she was noticing. It started with Dr. Blackwood's schedule. Maya had been babysitting for the family for almost 6 months, and she thought she knew his routine pretty well. He left for his medical practice every morning at 7:30, worked until 5, and came home for dinner. Simple and predictable, like most working parents. But lately, things had changed. Dr. Blackwood would come home at his usual time, have dinner with Lily, and then disappear again. Sometimes he claimed he had emergency calls at the hospital. Other times he said he had research to catch up on. Maya didn't think much of it at first. Doctors worked long hours. Everyone knew that. What bothered her was the condition he came home in after these late-night trips. His expensive suits would be wrinkled and dirty. Not just a little dusty, but actually dirty, like he had been crawling around somewhere he shouldn't have been. His hands, which were always perfectly clean during the day, would have dirt under his fingernails. Once, Maya noticed what looked like cement dust on his shoes. When she asked him about it, trying to make casual conversation, Dr. Blackwood would change the subject quickly. "Just had to check on some construction at the new medical building," he might say. Or, "You know how messy hospital basements can be." His explanations never quite made sense. But Maya didn't feel like it was her place to push for more details. The house itself had started to feel different, too. Maya had always thought it was beautiful, with its high ceilings and expensive furniture. Dr. Blackwood clearly made good money as a pediatrician, but now she noticed things that seemed odd for a family home. There were several rooms that were always locked. Not just Dr. Blackwood's home office, which made sense, but other rooms, too. When Maya asked Lily about them during one of their afternoon tea parties, the little girl's face had gone pale. "Those are Daddy's workrooms," Lily had whispered, glancing around as if someone might be listening. "I'm not allowed in there." "Nobody is. What kind of work does Daddy do at home?" Maya had asked gently. Lily had just shaken her head and changed the subject to her dolls. But Maya noticed how the little girl avoided even walking past those locked doors. How she would take the long way around the house to avoid the hallway that led to the basement. The basement was another mystery entirely. Maya had only been down there once, early in her time with the family, when she was looking for the laundry room. Dr. Blackwood had found her there and politely but firmly told her that the basement was off limits. He said he kept important medical files down there, and for privacy reasons, nobody else was allowed access. At the time, it had made perfect sense. Patient confidentiality was important, and doctors had to be careful about protecting their files. But now, Maya wondered why a pediatrician would need so much space for files, and why he would keep them at home instead of at his office. Lily had started having worse nightmares, too. Maya would put her down for her afternoon nap, and within an hour, the little girl would wake up screaming. Not crying or whimpering, but actually screaming like she was in genuine terror. "The underground friends are coming," Lily would sob when Maya rushed to comfort her. "They want to take me to Daddy's special room." Maya would hold her and rock her until the tears stopped, but she couldn't get those words out of her head. Underground friends? Special room? What kind of dreams was a 4-year-old having, and where were these images coming from? The drawings were even more disturbing. Lily loved to color and draw like most kids her age. But her artwork had changed dramatically over the past few weeks. Instead of the typical houses and flowers and stick figure families, Lily was drawing dark, underground spaces. She would use only black and gray crayons, creating pictures of tunnels and small rooms with children inside them. When Maya asked about the drawings, trying to sound casual and interested rather than worried, Lily would just say they were pictures of Daddy's work. "He helps the special children," she would explain matter-of-factly. "They live underground until they're ready." "Ready for what?" Maya wanted to ask, but something in Lily's tone warned her not to push too hard. The little girl was already fragile enough without Maya adding to her stress. Food had become another source of concern. Maya had noticed that Lily was eating more at snack time, almost frantically, like she hadn't eaten in days. When Maya looked in the kitchen cabinets to make lunch, she found them strangely empty for a wealthy family. Dr. Blackwood kept saying he needed to go grocery shopping, but he never seemed to find the time. Then Maya discovered Lily's secret stash. While helping the little girl clean her room one afternoon, Maya found crackers and granola bars hidden in a shoebox under the bed. There were juice boxes tucked behind books on the shelf and small bags of chips in the toy chest. "Why are you keeping food in your room, sweetheart?" Maya had asked gently. Lily's eyes had filled with tears. "Sometimes Daddy forgets to buy food, and sometimes he's too busy with his underground work to make dinner. I get hungry." Maya's heart had broken a little bit. What kind of father was too busy to feed his own child? And why would a successful doctor ever run out of food money? The man from the park had appeared 2 more times during their outings. Once at the library, where he sat reading a newspaper while Maya helped Lily pick out picture books. Another time at the ice cream shop, where he ordered a coffee and sat in the corner watching them through the window. Each time, Lily's reaction was the same. Pure, overwhelming terror. She would cling to Maya, beg to go home immediately, and spend the rest of the day jumpy and anxious. Maya had started scanning every location they visited, looking for the man in the dark suit, planning escape routes in case they needed to leave quickly. Dr. Blackwood's behavior around his daughter had started bothering Maya too. He was never cruel to Lily, never raised his voice or showed any obvious signs of being a bad father. But there were subtle things that made Maya uncomfortable. He would ask Lily detailed questions about her day, but not in the loving way most parents did. It felt more like an interrogation. "Who did you see? What did you talk about? Did anyone ask you any questions?" Lily would answer nervously, glancing at Maya as if she was afraid of saying the wrong thing. Dr. Blackwood also had strict rules about what Lily could and couldn't talk about outside the house. "Family business stays in the family," he would remind her regularly. "We don't talk about Daddy's work with anyone else, remember? It's our special secret." Maya knew enough about child psychology to understand that teaching children to keep secrets from other adults was a red flag. Healthy families didn't operate on secrets and fear. The breaking point came on a Thursday evening. Maya was cleaning up after dinner when she heard Dr. Blackwood's voice coming from the basement. He was on the phone with someone, and his tone was different from his usual professional manner. He sounded angry, almost desperate. "I need more time," she heard him say. "The shipment isn't ready yet." "These things can't be rushed. Shipment?" Maya found herself creeping closer to the basement door, trying to hear more. "I know what we agreed on," Dr. Blackwood continued. "But the quality has to be perfect. One mistake and everything falls apart." Maya's blood ran cold. What kind of shipment was a pediatrician dealing with? What needed to be perfect? And why did he sound so worried about making mistakes? She backed away from the door quickly when she heard footsteps coming up the basement stairs. Dr. Blackwood appeared a moment later, his face flushed and his hair disheveled. When he saw Maya in the kitchen, he looked startled. "Oh, you're still here," he said, trying to smile. "I thought you had left already." "Just finishing the dishes," Maya replied, keeping her voice steady even though her heart was racing. Dr. Blackwood nodded and headed upstairs without another word. But Maya noticed he locked the basement door behind him, something she had never seen him do before. That night, as Maya walked to her car, she made a decision. Whatever was happening in this house, whatever was causing Lily's nightmares and terror, she was going to find out. This sweet little girl deserved better than living in fear. Maya just hoped she was brave enough to handle whatever truth she might discover. The opportunity Maya had been waiting for came on a Friday morning in late October. Dr. Blackwood announced over breakfast that he would be attending a medical conference in Chicago for the weekend. He would leave Friday afternoon and return Sunday evening. "Will you be able to stay with Lily overnight?" he asked Maya, buttering his toast with the same precision he probably used in surgery. "I know it's short notice, but my usual overnight sitter is unavailable." Maya nodded immediately. "Of course. Lily and I will have a great weekend together, won't we, sweetheart?" Lily looked up from her cereal and smiled, but Maya noticed it didn't reach her eyes. The little girl had been quieter than usual lately, more withdrawn. Even her favorite activities couldn't seem to lift her spirits for long. Dr. Blackwood packed his bags efficiently, like someone who traveled for work regularly. But Maya found it odd that for a medical conference, he packed work clothes that could get dirty. old jeans and boots that seemed more suitable for manual labor than professional presentations. "I'll call to check in tomorrow evening," he said, kissing Lily goodbye. "Be good for Maya, and remember what we talked about." Maya saw Lily's shoulders tense at those words. What had they talked about? And why did it sound more like a warning than fatherly advice? After Dr. Blackwood left, Maya tried to make the afternoon fun for Lily. They baked cookies, watched movies, and had a tea party with all of Lily's stuffed animals. But the little girl seemed distracted, constantly glancing toward the locked doors and the basement entrance. That evening, as Maya was tucking Lily into bed, the little girl grabbed her hand tightly. "Maya," she whispered, "will you protect me from the underground friends tonight?" Maya's heart clenched. "There are no underground friends, sweetheart. You're safe here with me. But what if they come up from Daddy's special room? What if they want to take me away?" Maya sat on the edge of the bed, stroking Lily's hair. "Nobody is going to take you anywhere. I promise. I'll be right down the hall all night." But as Maya turned off the light and closed the door, she couldn't shake the feeling that Lily knew something she didn't. The little girl's fears seemed too specific, too detailed to be just childish imagination. Maya tried to focus on her college textbooks, but she kept thinking about everything she had observed over the past few weeks. The locked rooms, the mysterious phone calls, Lily's nightmares and drawings, the man at the park who terrified a normally brave little girl. Around midnight, Maya was making herself some tea in the kitchen when she heard a sound that made her freeze. It was coming from somewhere below her, a rhythmic thumping like someone moving heavy objects around. But that was impossible. Dr. Blackwood was in Chicago. The house was empty except for her and Lily. Maya stood perfectly still, listening intently. The sound came again, definitely from the basement area. Maya's mind raced. Could there be an intruder? Should she call the police? But what if it was just the heating system or water pipes making noise? She didn't want to panic over nothing. The thumping stopped as suddenly as it had started. Maya waited for several more minutes, but the house was silent again. She convinced herself it must have been the old house settling or some kind of mechanical noise. But sleep didn't come easily that night. Every creak and whisper of wind outside made Maya jump. She found herself checking on Lily multiple times, making sure the little girl was still safely in her bed. Saturday morning brought a discovery that changed everything. Maya was helping Lily clean her room when she noticed something odd about one of the floorboards near the closet. It was slightly raised, as if it had been pried up recently. "What's under here, Lily?" Maya asked casually, pressing down on the loose board. Lily's face went white. "I'm not supposed to tell. Daddy made me promise. It's okay, sweetheart." "You can tell me anything." Lily looked around nervously, then whispered, "Daddy's special key. He hides it there sometimes when he forgets to put it back." Maya's pulse quickened. "What does the key open?" "The door to the underground place, where he keeps his work files." Maya tried to keep her voice calm and normal. "Can you show me?" Lily hesitated, clearly torn between her fear of her father and her trust in Maya. Finally, she knelt down and worked her small fingers around the loose floorboard. It came up easily, revealing a small hiding space underneath. Inside was a single silver key. Maya stared at it for a long moment. This was it. This was her chance to find out what was really happening in this house. But was she brave enough to use it? "Lily," she said carefully, "I think I should take a look at Daddy's work files, just to make sure everything is okay." Lily shook her head frantically. "No, you can't. Daddy said nobody is allowed down there ever." "It's okay. Daddy asked me to check on some things while he was gone," Maya lied, hating herself for deceiving the child but knowing she needed to protect her. Maya spent the rest of the day trying to work up the courage to use the key. She played with Lily, made lunch, and watched cartoons, all while the key seemed to burn in her pocket. That evening, after Lily was asleep, Maya stood at the basement door. Her hands were shaking as she inserted the key into the lock. It turned easily, as if it had been used recently. The basement stairs creaked under her feet as she made her way down slowly. Maya had grabbed a flashlight from the kitchen, and its beam revealed a space that was nothing like what she had expected. This wasn't a normal basement with storage boxes and holiday decorations. The main area had been converted into something that looked almost like a medical facility. There were metal tables with restraints, cabinets full of medical supplies, and equipment that Maya didn't recognize but that made her stomach turn. But it was the walls that made Maya's legs nearly give out beneath her. They were covered with photographs and documents, all organized with the same precision Dr. Blackwood used for everything else in his life. The photographs showed children. Dozens of them, different ages, different backgrounds, but all with the same look of fear and confusion in their eyes. Some photos were clearly taken without the children's knowledge. Others looked more formal, like medical documentation. Maya's hands trembled as she examined the documents. There were detailed files on each child, including information about their families, their daily routines, their medical histories. There were maps marking various locations around the city. There were financial records showing large sums of money changing hands. Most disturbing of all were the correspondence files. Letters and emails between Dr. Blackwood and various other people discussing arrangements and schedules and payments. The language was coded, but the meaning was becoming horribly clear. Maya found a file folder labeled with dates from the past month. Inside were surveillance photos of local playgrounds and schools. Photos of children playing, unaware they were being watched and evaluated. Her blood turned to ice when she recognized some of the locations. The park where she took Lily, the library where they went for story time, even Lily's preschool. But the most shocking discovery was yet to come. In a locked file cabinet, Maya found records that showed this operation was much bigger than just Dr. Blackwood. There were names of other people involved, addresses of safe houses, detailed plans for moving children from one location to another. And there, in a folder marked with the current month, Maya found surveillance photos of herself and Lily. Someone had been watching them, documenting their routines, their activities, even photographing Maya's car and recording her license plate number. But the most chilling discovery was a detailed file with Lily's name on it. It contained medical information, personality assessments, and what appeared to be a preparation schedule. Maya's hands shook as she read notes about Lily's daily routine, her favorite foods, her bedtime habits. At the bottom of the file was a shipping label with an address Maya didn't recognize and a date that was only 2 weeks away. Maya's worst fears were confirmed when she found letters from the man at the park. But these letters weren't threatening. They were signed with an official letterhead she recognized from crime shows on television, Detective Torres, FBI. The man who had terrified Lily wasn't a criminal at all. He was an undercover federal agent who had been investigating Dr. Blackwood for months. The letters detailed the evidence they had gathered, the other children who had already disappeared, and their desperate attempt to build a case solid enough to shut down the entire operation. Maya sat in the basement for what felt like hours, reading through file after file. The scope of what Dr. Blackwood was involved in was beyond anything she had imagined. This wasn't just one doctor acting alone. This was an organized network of people who specialized in taking children from their families and selling them to the highest bidders. Some of the children were taken to be adopted by wealthy families who couldn't or wouldn't go through legal channels. Others were destined for situations Maya didn't want to think about. And Lily, sweet, innocent Lily, was next on the list. Maya understood now why the little girl was so terrified. She had been living in the house with a monster, seeing things a child should never see, knowing in her innocent way that something terrible was happening around her. The underground friends Lily talked about in her nightmares weren't imaginary. They were the other children who had been brought through this basement. Children who had disappeared into a network of trafficking and abuse. Maya carefully photographed the most important documents with her phone, her hands still shaking. She had to get this information to the FBI agent, had to make sure Dr. Blackwood was stopped before he could hurt Lily or any other child. As she prepared to leave the basement, Maya heard something that made her blood freeze. The sound of a car pulling into the driveway. Dr. Blackwood was home early. Maya quickly turned off her flashlight and tried to make her way back upstairs in the darkness. She could hear the front door opening, hear Dr. Blackwood's footsteps in the hallway above. She managed to reach the basement door and lock it behind her, just as Dr. Blackwood called out, "Maya? I'm home early. Is everything all right? Everything's fine, Maya called back, hoping her voice sounded normal. Lily's been asleep for hours. But as she faced Dr. Blackwood in the kitchen, Maya realized that everything had changed. She now knew the truth about the man standing in front of her. And somehow, she had to pretend that nothing was different while she figured out how to save Lily and herself. The hardest part was going to be looking into his eyes and pretending she still trusted him, when all she wanted to do was grab Lily and run as far away as possible. Maya's heart was beating so loud she was sure Dr. Blackwood could hear it. She stood in the kitchen trying to act normal while her mind raced with everything she had just discovered in the basement. The key to his secret room felt like it was burning a hole in her pocket. How was the conference? Maya asked, hoping her voice sounded steady. She busied herself wiping down the already clean counter, needing something to do with her hands. Dr. Blackwood loosened his tie and sat down at the kitchen table. It ended earlier than expected. Some of the presentations were canceled. He looked tired, but there was something else in his expression, something that made Maya's skin crawl now that she knew the truth about him. "That's too bad," Maya said, still not looking directly at him. Lily was perfect. She went to bed right on time. Good. Did anyone call? Any visitors? Maya shook her head, but she noticed how Dr. Blackwood asked the question. Not like a normal parent checking if there were any messages, but like someone who was worried about being watched. Now she understood why. "I should probably head home," Maya said, grabbing her purse from the counter. "It's getting late." "Actually, Maya, could you stay a few more minutes? There's something I need to discuss with you." Maya's blood turned cold. Did he know she had been in the basement? Had she left some evidence behind? She forced herself to sit down across from him at the table. Dr. Blackwood studied her face carefully. "You've been working for our family for several months now. Lily has grown very attached to you." "She's a wonderful little girl," Maya replied honestly. That much at least was true. "The thing is, Maya, my work is about to require some significant changes. I may need to travel more, take on some special projects that will keep me away from home for extended periods." Maya nodded, not trusting herself to speak. "I've been thinking that Lily might benefit from a more stable situation. Perhaps it would be better if she stayed with relatives for a while. My sister lives in another state, and she's offered to take Lily for an extended visit." Maya's stomach dropped. She thought about the shipping label she had seen in the basement, the one with Lily's name on it and a date 2 weeks away. This wasn't about relatives. This was about Dr. Blackwood preparing to get rid of his daughter. "That sounds like it could be good for her," Maya managed to say, though the words tasted like poison in her mouth. Dr. Blackwood smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I'm glad you understand. Of course, with Lily gone, I won't be needing babysitting services anymore. I'll pay you through the end of the month, naturally." Maya nodded and stood up quickly. "I should really get going. Thank you for letting me know." As she walked toward the door, Dr. Blackwood called after her. "Maya, you've always been discreet about our family's private matters. I trust that will continue." The way he said it wasn't a request. It was a threat? "Of course," Maya replied, not turning around. "Family business stays private." She heard him chuckle softly behind her. "Exactly." Maya made it to her car before her hands started shaking so badly she could barely get the key in the ignition. She drove several blocks before pulling into a parking lot and calling the number she had memorized from the FBI letters in the basement. "Detective Torres?" she said when someone answered. "My name is Maya. I'm the babysitter for the Blackwood family. I think we need to talk." They agreed to meet at a coffee shop across town, away from anywhere Dr. Blackwood might think to look for her. Maya spent the 20-minute drive trying to organize her thoughts, trying to figure out how to explain everything she had learned. Detective Torres was already waiting when she arrived. He looked different without the dark suit, more approachable in his casual clothes. But Maya could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his eyes constantly scanned the room. "Thank you for calling," he said as Maya sat down across from him. "I've been hoping someone close to the family would reach out." Maya pulled out her phone and showed him the photo she had taken in the basement. Detective Torres's expression grew grimmer with each image. "How long have you been investigating Dr. Blackwood?" Maya asked. 8 months, Torres replied. We've been tracking a network of people involved in child trafficking. Dr. Blackwood is one of the key players, but he's been extremely careful. We've had trouble getting solid evidence that would hold up in court. What about all those files in the basement? Isn't that enough? Torres shook his head. We need to be able to access them legally, with proper warrants. And we need to catch him in the act of actually moving a child. Otherwise, he could claim the files were for legitimate medical research or child welfare purposes. Maya felt sick. Lily is next, isn't she? He just told me she's going to visit relatives, but I saw the shipping label with her name on it. Torres leaned forward, his expression intense. What exactly did he say about Lily leaving? Maya repeated the conversation word for word. Torres took notes on everything, asking detailed questions about Dr. Blackwood's behavior, his schedule, and anything unusual she had observed. The problem is, legally, he's still her father, Torres explained. Even if we suspect his intentions, we can't stop him from taking his own daughter on a trip without concrete proof of immediate danger. But she is in immediate danger, Maya said, trying to keep her voice down. I've seen what he does to other children. I know, and we're working as fast as we can. But we have to do this right, or he'll disappear, and we'll never catch him. Torres explained that they had been building a case against the entire network. Dr. Blackwood wasn't just taking children for his own purposes. He was part of a larger organization that moved children across state lines, selling them to buyers who paid enormous amounts for what they called special adoptions. Some of the children end up with families who genuinely want to adopt, but don't want to go through legal channels, Torres said. They convince themselves they're doing nothing wrong, but others. He shook his head grimly. Maya didn't need him to finish that sentence. The man you've been seeing at the park, watching you and Lily, Torres continued. That's been me. I've been trying to document Dr. Blackwood's patterns, figure out his schedule, see how he interacts with potential victims. Lily was terrified of you, Maya said. I know, and I hated that, but she was terrified because she recognized me. Dr. Blackwood has been showing her photos of law enforcement officers, telling her that we're the bad guys who want to hurt her family. Maya's heart broke for Lily all over again. The little girl had been living in a nightmare, not knowing who to trust or who was trying to help her. What happens now? Maya asked. Torres pulled out a small device that looked like a button. We need your help. This is a recording device. If you're willing, we'd like you to continue working for Dr. Blackwood and try to get him to admit what he's planning to do with Lily. Maya stared at the tiny device. You want me to go back there? Pretend I don't know anything? I know it's dangerous, and I know it's asking a lot. But you might be our only chance to save Lily and stop this entire operation. Maya thought about Lily's terrified face at the park, her nightmares about underground friends, the way she hoarded food in her room like she was preparing for something terrible. What do I need to do? She asked. Torres spent the next hour explaining the plan. Maya would return to work as normal, but she would wear the recording device and try to get Dr. Blackwood to talk about his plans. They needed him to say something specific about moving Lily, about the network of people he worked with, about what happened to the other children. The most important thing is your safety, Torres emphasized. If you feel like you're in immediate danger, get out. Call me immediately and we'll come get you. Maya nodded, but inside she was terrified. She had never done anything like this before. She was just a college student who wanted to help children. Now she was being asked to go undercover against a dangerous criminal. But when she thought about Lily, about that sweet little girl who had been living with a monster disguised as her father, Maya knew she had no choice. There's something else you should know, Torres said as they prepared to leave. Dr. Blackwood suspects that someone has been watching him. He's been more careful lately, more paranoid. That's why he came back from his conference early. He got a tip that law enforcement might be closing in. Maya's stomach clenched. So he knows you're investigating him? He knows someone is, but he doesn't know how much we know, or who's helping us. That's why your help is so crucial. He trusts you with his daughter. He doesn't see you as a threat. As Maya drove home that night, she tried to prepare herself for what she was about to do. Tomorrow she would have to look Dr. Blackwood in the eye and pretend she didn't know he was a monster. She would have to act normal around Lily while wearing a wire and trying to gather evidence that could save the little girl's life. But the hardest part would be living with the knowledge that every day she waited, every day they didn't have enough evidence to arrest him, was another day that Lily remained in terrible danger. Maya had always thought of herself as an ordinary person, someone who studied hard and babysat kids to pay for college. She never imagined she would find herself at the center of an FBI investigation, risking her own safety to save a child from a fate too horrible to imagine. But as she pulled into her driveway, Maya made a promise to herself and to Lily. No matter how scared she was, no matter how dangerous it became, she would not let Dr. Blackwood hurt that little girl. She just hoped she was brave enough to see it through to the end. The next morning, Maya sat in her car outside the Blackwood house for 10 minutes before she could work up the courage to go inside. The tiny recording device Detective Torres had given her felt huge against her chest. Even though she knew it was practically invisible under her sweater, she had barely slept the night before, going over and over the plan in her head. Act normal. Get Dr. Blackwood talking. Try to record him admitting what he was really planning to do with Lily. It sounded simple enough, but Maya's hands were shaking as she knocked on the front door. Good morning. Maya, Dr. Blackwood said as he let her in. He seemed cheerful, almost relieved about something. Lily's having breakfast. I need to run some errands this morning, so you'll have the house to yourselves. Maya nodded and went to find Lily in the kitchen. The little girl was picking at her cereal, dark circles under her eyes like she hadn't slept well either. Morning, sweetheart, Maya said, sitting down beside her. How are you feeling today? Lily looked up with sad eyes. Daddy says I'm going on a trip soon, to see my aunt. Maya's heart clenched, but she kept her voice light. That sounds exciting. Do you want to go visit your aunt? Lily shook her head slowly. I don't want to leave you, Maya. What if the underground friends follow me there? Maya had to bite her lip to keep from crying. This innocent little girl was so scared, and she had no idea how much danger she was really in. Don't worry about that right now, Maya said gently. Let's just focus on having a good day together, okay? Dr. Blackwood came into the kitchen, putting on his coat. I should be back by lunchtime. Maya, could you help Lily start packing some of her things? Just a few favorite toys and clothes. We'll be making travel arrangements soon. Of course, Maya said, though the words felt like glass in her throat. After Dr. Blackwood left, Maya tried to keep Lily distracted with games and activities. But the little girl seemed to sense that something big was happening. She clung to Maya more than usual and kept asking questions about the trip. Will you come visit me at my aunt's house? Lily asked while they were coloring together. I hope so, sweetheart, Maya said, praying it would never come to that. Around 11 o'clock, Maya's phone buzzed with a text from Detective Torres. He's meeting with someone at the warehouse district. We're following. Stay alert. Maya's pulse quickened. This was it. Dr. Blackwood was probably making final arrangements for Lily's departure. When Dr. Blackwood returned home just after noon, he seemed energized, like everything was falling into place according to his plan. How was your morning? Maya asked casually. Very productive, he replied, hanging up his coat. I've confirmed Lily's travel arrangements. She'll be leaving tomorrow evening. Maya felt like she had been punched in the stomach. Tomorrow? That was so much sooner than she had expected. That's very quick, she managed to say. Dr. Blackwood smiled, but there was something cold about it. Sometimes these opportunities come up suddenly. You have to be ready to move fast in my line of work. Maya saw an opening. The recording device was running, and Dr. Blackwood seemed to be in a talkative mood. What exactly does your work involve? I mean, beyond your regular medical practice. Dr. Blackwood studied her face carefully. For a moment, Maya was terrified he could somehow see right through her. But then he seemed to decide she was just making conversation. I help facilitate special adoptions, he said. There are many wealthy families who want children but don't want to deal with all the red tape of traditional adoption agencies. I connect them with children who need homes. That sounds like wonderful work, Maya said, though she felt sick saying it. It is. These children get opportunities they never would have had otherwise. Better lives, better families, better futures. Dr. Blackwood poured himself a cup of coffee, completely relaxed now. Of course, it requires a certain level of discretion. Not everyone understands the service we provide. Maya nodded encouragingly, hoping he would say more. Take Lily, for example, Dr. Blackwood continued. I've found her the perfect family. Wealthy, established, very eager for a daughter exactly her age. They'll give her everything she could ever want. Will you be able to visit her? Maya asked, trying to keep her voice neutral. Dr. Blackwood laughed, but it wasn't a warm sound. Oh no, these arrangements require complete separation. Clean breaks are better for everyone involved. Lily will have a new life, a new family, even a new name. Maya's hands were clenched so tightly under the table that her nails were digging into her palms. He was talking about selling his own daughter like she was a piece of property. The logistics can be challenging, Dr. Blackwood went on, clearly proud of his organizational skills. We have a network of safe houses, transportation specialists, document experts. It's quite sophisticated. How many children have you helped place? Maya asked. Over the past 2 years? Probably about 30. All successful placements. The families are always satisfied with the children we provide. Maya thought she might throw up. 30 children. 30 families destroyed. 30 kids taken from everything they knew and sold to strangers. Dr. Blackwood's phone rang, interrupting his boasting. He answered it quickly, and Maya could hear an urgent male voice on the other end, though she couldn't make out the words. Dr. Blackwood's face changed immediately. The relaxed confidence disappeared, replaced by sharp alertness. What do you mean, FBI? He said into the phone. Are you sure? Maya's heart started pounding. Something was happening. Dr. Blackwood listened for another moment, then hung up abruptly. He looked at Maya with new suspicion. I need to make some calls, he said curtly. Keep Lily upstairs until I say otherwise. Maya nodded and went to find Lily, her mind racing. Had Detective Torres's team been spotted? Was their cover blown? She found Lily in her room, playing quietly with her dolls. Maya sat on the floor beside her, trying to act normal while her heart hammered against her ribs. Maya, Lily whispered. Daddy sounds angry downstairs. Are the underground friends coming? Before Maya could answer, they heard shouting from somewhere in the house. Then the sound of doors slamming and footsteps running. Maya made a quick decision. She grabbed Lily's hand and pulled her toward the window. We need to go outside and play for a while, okay, sweetheart? But as they reached the top of the stairs, Maya saw Dr. Blackwood at the bottom, and he was holding something in his hand that made Maya's blood freeze. It was the recording device Detective Torres had given her. Somehow he had figured out what she was doing. Going somewhere? Dr. Blackwood asked, his voice deadly calm. Maya pushed Lily behind her protectively. We were just going out to play. I don't think so. Dr. Blackwood started walking up the stairs toward them. You've been very busy, haven't you, Maya? Very curious about things that don't concern you. Maya backed up, keeping Lily behind her. I don't know what you mean. Of course you do. The question is, how long have you been working with the FBI? Maya didn't answer. She was too busy looking for an escape route. But they were trapped at the top of the stairs. That's when she heard the most beautiful sound in the world. Car doors slamming outside, followed by heavy footsteps and authoritative voices. FBI! Open the door! Dr. Blackwood cursed and ran toward the back of the house, probably heading for the basement where Maya knew there was another exit. But he didn't get far. The front door burst open, and Detective Torres rushed in with a team of federal agents. Maya had never been so happy to see anyone in her entire life. Maya! Lily! Are you okay? Torres called up the stairs. We're fine! Maya called back, tears streaming down her face. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Dr. Blackwood was arrested as he tried to escape through the basement. Maya learned later that they had also arrested 6 other people that same day, including the buyers who were expecting to receive Lily the next evening. The basement was thoroughly searched, and agents found evidence of the entire trafficking network. Computer files, financial records, and documentation that would help them locate other missing children and prosecute everyone involved. Maya had to give detailed statements to investigators, but the hardest part was explaining to Lily what was happening. How do you tell a 4-year-old that her father was never really protecting her, but was actually planning to give her away to strangers? Lily was placed with her grandmother, her mother's mother, who had been kept out of their lives by Dr. Blackwood's manipulation. Maya learned that the grandmother had been trying to get custody of Lily for months, but Dr. Blackwood had convinced the courts she was unfit. 3 weeks after the arrest, Maya visited Lily at her grandmother's house. The change in the little girl was remarkable. She was still quiet sometimes, still had occasional nightmares, but the constant fear was gone. She laughed more, played more freely, and had started calling her grandmother Nana. Maya! Lily ran to hug her as soon as she walked through the door. Nana says you're a hero because you saved me from Daddy's bad friends. Maya hugged her tight, fighting back tears. You're the brave one, sweetheart. You were so strong through everything. 6 months later, Dr. Blackwood was sentenced to life in prison without parole. 5 other members of his network received similar sentences. Most importantly, 7 children who had been taken by the network were found and returned to their families. Maya changed her major to child psychology that fall. The experience with Lily had shown her what she really wanted to do with her life. She wanted to help children who had been through trauma, to give them a voice when adults weren't listening. On her graduation day 2 years later, Maya looked out into the audience and saw Lily sitting with her grandmother. The little girl was 6 now, bright and happy and healthy. She waved enthusiastically when she spotted Maya in her cap and gown. After the ceremony, Lily ran up to Maya with a drawing she had made. It showed 2 stick figures holding hands under a bright yellow sun. "That's you and me," Lily explained proudly. "And see, there are no scary underground places anymore, just sunshine." Maya hung that drawing in her office when she opened her counseling center a year later. The center specialized in helping children recover from trauma, and Maya made sure every child who came through her doors knew they had someone who would listen, someone who would believe them, and someone who would fight for them. Lily visited the center often, sometimes helping Maya with the younger children. She had grown into a confident, caring little girl who used her own experience to help others feel safe and heard. The man in the suit who had once terrified Lily at the park became Detective Torres, a friend who stopped by occasionally to check on both of them. Lily no longer saw him as scary, but as one of the good guys who had helped save her. Maya often thought about that afternoon in the park when Lily had first whispered about Daddy's secret. She had almost dismissed it as childish imagination. The experience taught her the most important lesson of her career. Children often know more than adults think they do, and they deserve to be heard, believed, and protected. Sometimes the people who are supposed to keep us safe are the ones we need to be saved from. But sometimes, if we're very lucky, an ordinary person finds the courage to do extraordinary things. And sometimes, that's all it takes to change everything.